My story, Book of the Heart, my voice. I never had a voice. And when I say that, I'll tell you what I mean. I suppressed my voice. I was scared to speak my truth from a very early age. I didn't know why and what was happening back then. So I stayed with mom until age of 3 and I was glued to her. I was fearing anxiety, separation, fear of being by myself, fear of saying what I feel. And therefore I decided just to shut down. And mom sent me to kindergarten at age of 3 because my dad and her had to go back to work. Maternity leave is 3 years back home in Bulgaria. So I was crying at kindergarten, she was crying at work, and it was unbearable. I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to sleep at kindy, I didn't want to talk to anyone, and one of the teachers was hitting me and emotionally abusing me because they wanted to have their lunch break, to smoke cigarettes, to talk, and I was making their life uncomfortable. I refused to eat, I refused to sleep, but not only. I would run in the winter, in the snow, bare feet, run as fast as I can, and disappear. And they couldn't find me, so their lunch break was very disturbed. So that's just to give you a glimpse of how I didn't want to be in the system, refused to do things that were really taught on me to be done. And my mom got pregnant again with my sister. Therefore, I had the opportunity to stay home until age of 7 when I started school. But the period that I had to stay at kindergarten was, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, something like that. And then my sister was born and I stayed for another 3 years home. And there was a small period where I had to go again to kindy before I started school because I wasn't 7. And back home you start school at age of 7. So when I went back to kindy, this was a nightmare. I was almost 7. I was still running away barefoot in the snow, still not talking. But not only at kindy, I didn't speak at home. I didn't tell my parents how I felt. I refused to eat my breakfast. I had huge anxiety through the whole night, waking up. And when I was at kindy, again, no eating, no sleeping, making a plan how at lunchtime to run away, to grab my sister from the kindergarten next door, and to lie and say my mom sent me to grab her. So that gives you a little bit of a picture of who I was at the time and how lost and scared I was. So my parents were very confused. They didn't know what was going on. They were age of probably 26, roughly, around that age. My dad is a musician, so he had to go and practice during the day. And then at night, he would go and have concerts. So no one could look after me. And I had to start school. And the first day of school, if you see the photo I've got, is I'm crying. I'm red and I don't have a clue why I'm at school. My eyes are puffed. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is paired, like boy, girl holding hands. We get at school and Adriana is just weeping and completely confused. Why am I at school? What is the purpose of this? Now one prison to another prison. Why do I have to obey? I don't want to be here. And that's how I started navigating in the system. Until probably age of 10 roughly, I met my best friend who came from Algiers. She spoke French most of the time and I didn't understand much, but I would pick her up in the morning, we would go to school, come back together, play together, and I was so shy and so unsure and so much not fitting in that because she was such an extrovert and she could attract so much attention towards her, I wanted to be around her. my question was all that time, why does she like me? I don't speak. I don't want to interact with the other classmates. She wanted. So she took me everywhere with her, and she made them take me as well. I didn't enjoy any of that. And one of the big things is she was very good at her marks at school. I was terrible, but I didn't care. She would try and help me learn my lessons faster so we can go and play earlier. And I was like listening. The information comes from here, goes from here. Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not interested. The only two subjects I was good at was English and literature because I was interested. And then I started learning more how to express, but not at school. At school, I refused, even when they say, go and speak, Adriana, in front of the class, I would just shut up. And when they ask me, what is the topic? Have you learned your lesson? Say no. And that's it. And they will leave me. They will call my parents. They will ask me and them and constantly, how can we help? And I'm like, don't know. Zero interest. And my parents didn't know what to do. So what I did is, I remember I was doing, because we had a lot of tests in Bulgaria in the schools, I would go and just copy somebody else's answers or write answers under my sleeve. I would put them in here. And that's how I would do my tests. And again, zero engagement, zero interest. So that's how the school went. Then I went to high school. I didn't want to be there either, but I became a bit more trouble because I've started having a voice and started exploring what is it to smoke, to drink, teenage years, and more independence. But of course I got into troubled companies and friendships. So that's another story. But I've learned a lot. And thank God there were no such strong and dangerous drugs like they are now on the market, all these synthetics and chemicals, which is a concern for our children. It was different. It was alcohol and marijuana, and it was in a way safe, in a way, again, and it was cheap. But I didn't take that much. I tried here and there. For me, it was more exploring different people, characters, and being wild, going dancing, and just being with friends. And my best friend, of course, who I met at the age of 10, stayed with me. She's still with me all my life. Almost 40 years now, which is, it's amazing, actually. I'm very grateful for her. She helped me have more voice and adopt a different personality from what I had. That doesn't mean it was the personality I desired to have, but it was a personality that was more strong compared to the girl with no voice. So that was the beginning of me learning that I can hide behind a mask, only to understand later on in life that we have many masks through different stages of our life until we really find the true voice, and we don't need a mask. We just become us, whoever that is, and we become more true, more honest, with more integrity. But that comes later in life with a lot of learning and unlearning, and with a lot of struggles and trying to fit in to a moment where you stop trying to fit in. But again, that is a journey. So I'm going to stop here. That's for the voice, me, kindergarten, school, my best friend, and learning how to fit in.